Using this to crisp up your potatoes will make them go from great to awesome. Ooh, look at us being all fancy like. Now, if you aren't making potatoes like this, that should be illegal. Let's get into it. Today, we're tackling the Hasselback potato. Now, cooking time for this recipe is 1 hour, or for those of you who like to follow my beer timer, you're looking at a 2-beer cook. Cheers. Help me to help you. If you like this video, like it, share it with your mates, leave me a comment. Also subscribe to the channel and don't forget, hit that bell notification so you get notified every time I upload new content. To make this recipe, we're going to need some potatoes. And when selecting your potatoes, try and get them all roughly the same size. This will just ensure that they all cook evenly and they'll be ready around about the same time. Now, to make this potato into a Hasselback potato, you're going to need a couple of special tools. That being a knife and some wooden spoons. Now grab your potato and slice off the bottom so it sits flat and it won't rock. Now place a wooden spoon on either side of the potato to act as a cutting guide. And then we're just going to make slits from one end to the other, roughly about 3 mil apart. And this is what you should be left with. Slices all the way from one end to the other. Then once all of your potatoes are sliced up and ready to go, grab a baking tray and we're going to cover it with some flexible metal. And then we can just transfer the potatoes onto the tray. By using the wooden spoons as a cutting guide, you won't cut all the way through the potato, keeping it intact. Because if you did cut through the slices, you'd just be making chips and you wouldn't have Hasselback potato. And now that the potatoes are all sliced up, we need to oil them, and this is going to help crisp up the skin and also add some colour while we're cooking the potato. And our choices are huge. You could use an olive oil or an avocado based oil. You could use a spray oil like canola, but for the best result, we're going to use some duck fat. Just melt it down and brush it all over the potatoes, starting on the bottom first, and then flip them all over and brush the top as well, making sure to cover all of the potato with the duck fat. And I use roughly 1 to 2 teaspoons of duck fat per potato. And then just sprinkle over some salt flakes and we are ready to start baking. Today, I'm going to be using my Z Grills pellet smoker because I want to be baking at temps of 232 degrees Celsius today, and it's as easy as adding some pellets, opening the lid, turning the power on, and turning it to the smoke function. Wait for it to start smoking. Don't forget to put the grill back in place. And once the smoke does start to settle, we can set our target temp of 232 degrees Celsius and close the lid and wait for it to get to temp. I'm using the pellet smoker for this cook because I have to keep opening and closing the lid. And the pellet smoker is going to get to temp a lot quicker, just like an oven. It's that time. The pellet smoker is at temp. So we can just place the tray of potatoes on the bottom rack and close the lid. And set a timer for 20 minutes. I want to make a herb-infused butter to brush onto these potatoes. So into a pot, add 100 grams of salted butter, and over a low heat, we're going to allow that to melt. And once it's melted, add 1 teaspoon of dried rosemary and 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, half a teaspoon of dried garlic, and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Allow those flavours to infuse into the butter for about a minute or two and then remove from the heat. You can add whatever flavours you want to the butter, if you don't trust my judgment. The potatoes have been baking away for 20 minutes, so we can get them out of the smoker and brush them with our butter mixture. Now there's no need to flip these over, just give them a good dose of the herb butter and allow it to drip over all the edges. Place the tray back in the smoker and set an alarm for another 20 minutes. The potatoes have been baking for 40 minutes now. Take them out of the smoker again, and using a knife, we're just going to pry open the slits a little bit. And then just brush on more of that butter mixture. And place the potatoes back in the smoker and set an alarm for another 20 minutes. By opening up the slits to allow that butter to get through all of the potato, we are not only helping the skin to get nice and crisp, but the flesh is also going to stay nice and soft and moist. Smart! We are 1 hour into the cook and we're done. We can drag the potatoes out. That skin is super crispy and that herb infused butter has flavoured these potatoes. These are the perfect side dish to any meal. They are perfect to go with steaks, roasts, any barbecue food. In fact, anything where you need a nice side dish. Now the only thing left to do is sprinkle on some fresh chives and then just serve immediately and eat some. Oh.